after a shooting on Shanda Drive in Raleigh. But first,
this vicious persecution is a travesty of justice. You're watching Joe Biden try to jail his leading political opponent.
those are very strong words from the former President Donald Trump as he took the stage in our state tonight. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Julian Grace. Well, he was speaking at the North Carolina Republican Convention in Greensboro. It was one of his first public appearances since he was charged with 37 felony counts. WRAL's Keenan Willard was there for the whole speech. And Keenan, we just heard Trump criticizing the indictment, but he didn't stop there.
Julian, those were remarks that we expected from an earlier speech he had given in the state of Georgia just hours before. But here in Greensboro at this convention, this was considered really the main event. The atmosphere was set. We had hundreds of people inside that ballroom where he railed against this indictment, calling it, as you said, a political attack levied by his opponents. He also laid out some of his vision for if he does take back the White House next year, while also making some false claims in the process.
The headliner at the NC GOP convention. A day after a federal indictment against him was unsealed, former President Trump told the crowd the charges are being brought to harm his presidential campaign.
You're watching Joe Biden try to jail his leading political opponent. Think of it. This is like third world country stuff.
Trump told the crowd he plans to endorse Mark Robinson for the governor's race next year. He also falsely claimed repeatedly that the 2020 election was stolen from him, calling for early voting to be shortened and ID required to vote.
People are getting 7 ballots, 8 ballots, and we can't do it, We're not going to have a country left.
Trump said if elected, he would end the war in Ukraine within 24 hours. He also promised to cancel the Biden administration's border policies.
We want to reverse what Joe Biden's done. He's been a horror show.
Now, during the course of his speech tonight, when I was in real time sort of pushing back against some of those claims that we determined were not accurate, I had a viewer reach out and they said, they were confused. They said, I thought that a reporter's job was just to present the information that was being said and not to read into it or to offer whatever insight we may have. And that's not the case. When we're in this sort of political setting, our job is to separate fact and fiction when a candidate is speaking, especially about their platform when they plan to take back the White House. Now, we do that through this process of fact-checking, and we have Paul Spey, our PolitiFact reporter here, talking about how we do this, because there is a process when it comes to fact-checking.
Right. It's a thorough process. It takes time. It takes research. And frankly, someone like Trump is really hard to fact-check in real time because he talks so fast and he makes so many claims. So nights like tonight, we look for things like superlatives. When he says, we had the best of this or the worst of times, and things like that. And so, and things that we've already checked before. And so tonight we heard some of that. He said he presided over the best American economy. Now, that's something PolitiFact has already fact-checked before back in 2020. We found that while unemployment numbers were low, other factors like GDP growth and just other things that can be measured as part of the economy were not the best they'd ever been. So we rated that false. Another claim he made tonight that's newer is that his GOP opponent, Ron DeSantis, supports a 23% sales tax. That's another thing we've already fact-checked. We rated that half true. People can go find that on politifact.com.
Paul, thank you so much. It was a lengthy process, more than an hour of remarks from President Trump. We have all that information he just delivered, as well as some more on WRAL.com with our digital coverage of all of the convention up to this point. Julian?
And Keenan and Paul providing great insight for us tonight, reporting live in Greensboro. We will see you guys later tonight at 11. Before Pence's speech,